Okay, thank you. Okay. Your Jimmy sir is not going to take this subject hereafter, so that I'm going to handle this subject. This is waste processing techniques and source reduction, product recovery, and recycling. Learning objectives of this model is identifying the process, purpose of waste processing, explaining the for reducing the volume and size of wastes, carrying out the separation of various components, discuss the need for dewatering and drying of wastes, access technical viability of various processing techniques. I think this portion has been already covered. In much of the portion, 90% of the portion has been covered in this module. As per the information I got, I have to start with recycling program elements. Okay. In the, there are some programs for recycling the wastes. Okay, we cannot recycling, as we required. There are some programs or there are some elements which we should follow to recycle the elements which are, are wastes. Okay. So what are those elements we are going to discuss in this part? Recycling programs are designed according to the needs and priority of communities. Okay, there are some communities, according to the communities, the recycling programs are designed. Okay, the needs and the priority of the communities. Okay, so these programs are designed. Elements of recycling program includes source separation, curbside collection, material resource facilities, and the full stream processing. So only these are some of the elements. Okay, we can list out many of elements. Only here mentioned only some of the elements have been mentioned. Okay, what are the source separation, curbside collection, material resource facility, and full stream processing? Recycling generally has a positive impact on other municipal waste management programs. Okay, so specifically this recycling program is having a positive impact on the waste management. This includes a mix of strategies ranging from simple single material drop-off centers to large-scale centralized processing facilities. Okay, so what are these programs or elemental programs that we are going to discuss? Okay, what are these elements? What are the elements this recycling programs is included? Recycling program elements are source separation, drop-off, buyback, curbside program, storage and collection of recyclables, collection vehicle for recycling, processing equipment for recycling, material recovery facility or MRF, full stream processing. So these are the 8 elements used for the recycling program. Okay, these are the elements of recycling program. Let us discuss one by one what these elements are describing and how these elements are useful for the recycling program. Okay, let us take first source separation. As the name itself, it is telling that it is a segregation of different types of wastes. It is a segregation of different types of wastes. That's it. In the simple, we can understand that it is a separation of different wastes. That's it. Okay. Source separation refers to the segregation of recyclable and reusable materials. Okay, at the point of generation. At the point of generation itself, we are going to separate different types of reusable and recyclable wastes. Okay, that is called the source separation. Because why it is called the source separation? At the point of generation itself, we are going to separate the waste material. Okay, which is used for reusable as well as the recyclable. This requires that several designated material be separated into their own specific containers. Okay, while other programs use only two containers, one for the storage of mixed recyclables and other for regular wastes. Source separation may be voluntary or mandated and is done in conjunction with the several recycling programs. Okay, so this is there are some you might have seen in many cases, you might have observed in daily life that there are some separation methods, different separation methods are used at the point of generation itself, that how the wood can be separated and how the magnetic waste can be separated, how the ferrous material, plastic, and the all the dust particles can be separated. Everything can be separated at the point of generation itself. We use different techniques to separate the wastes at the point of generation itself. Okay, this is one of the very important and oftenly used technique or the method to separate the waste or in the waste management. Next one is drop-off buyback method. Okay, it is one of the element in the recyclable techniques. A drop-off program requires residents. Okay, in the magnetics, I mean in the source separation, no residents are required. Okay, only the technical elements are more than enough to separate. Of course, we can done it manually also, but it is not mandatory that the source separation method needs residents. Okay, whereas in the drop off or buyback technique, the residents must be required. Okay, drop off program requires the residents to separate the recyclable materials and bring them to specified drop off or collection center. It's just like the waste is taken from your home itself. Okay, we are going to separate the wet particles and the dry particles. Okay, so we are going to separate that and we are going to keep in different carriers, and then we'll go and put it in the dustbin. That itself is the drop off. Okay, that itself is the drop off separation. Okay, that itself is the drop off program. However, we must take account local conditions when designing a collection program. This when you're going to design the collection programs, we are going to take into account that what are the local conditions there. Okay, what is the atmospheric condition is there, and what is the is there residents are available, or is the personals that are available to achieve this condition and or not. Okay, all these local conditions are the conditions for achieving the drop-off program is to be considered. Okay, so this recycling program or center can be established at the same location where residents deliver the waste. Okay, where the residents are going to deliver the waste at the same point itself, we can establish this drop-off center. Okay, or the recycling center itself. Okay, recycling center itself, we can establish there itself where the drop-off point is there, where the residents are going to deliver the waste. Okay, at the same point, we can establish the recycling plant. Mobile recycling drop-off trailers can also be used, or we can take some distance where the recycling center is established, and we can use trailers to carry that waste, separated waste in the dustbin, and we can use it for the recycling at the some distance from the point of drop off. Okay, that also can be achieved, or this also can be achieved. Whereas if you establish the recycling center at the point of drop off itself, then it is these drop off trailers are not required. Trailers are not required. Okay, that means the carriers or the drop off personnel or the residents may also carry really from point of drop off to the point of the recycling center. Okay? Whereas in the mobiling, if you establish the recycling center the point recycle that the waste. Drop off recycling, however, is less convenient than the pickup, is the one of the element in the waste management or in the recycling program, which we are going to discuss next slide. If a thorough educational and promotional effort is not made, drop-off program tends to have lower participation rate than the curbside collection, because it is having a low impact on the waste management, because it requires residents. Okay, and as well as the point of as we discussed before, the recycling centers. Okay, as well as local conditions. All these points are to be considered before going to design, or before going to establish the drop-off point at where the residents are there. Okay, whereas in the curbside collection, okay, whereas in the curbside collection, the vehicles are used to pick up the waste which is placed in the point, drop off point. Okay, and we can take it into the recycle point. It is very efficient. Curbside collection point is very efficient than that of the drop off point. Now, what is the buyback program? Buyback program is the one. Before I'm going to get into the slide, I'm just explain you what does exactly this mean. Buyback program is nothing but the residents are going to buy the waste. Okay, residents are going to buy the waste for the recycling. In the case of drop off point or a drop off program, we are going to drop the waste where in the specified point. We are going to drop the waste in the specified place. In this buyback program, we are going to buy the waste for the recycling. Okay, that is the difference between the drop off and the buyback programs. In the buyback refers to a drop off program. Okay, that is also drop off program. After drop off itself, we are going to buy back the program, waste for the recycling. That provides monetary incentives to participate in this type of program. The residents are paid back for their recyclable material directly or indirectly through the reduction in the collection and disposal fees. Establishing a buyback center, example, a place where the recyclables are purchased, may help induce citizens to recycle. Some buyback centers purchase some material and accept others, depending upon the current marketing conditions. Private or public mobile buyback operations can serve some areas, purchasing recyclables from small communities or from neighborhood of large metropolitan areas on the regular schedule. This buyback program can be achieved in the, it is not limited only for certain areas. It can be extended its arms even to the smaller area as well as for the larger area like metropolitan areas even. Okay, but you need to give some disposal fees for the buyback program. Okay, this is the curbside program. Okay, in the picture you can see the curbside program, how the curbside program can be achieved. Okay, there will be some specified areas, or these are also called the licensed areas. Okay, so these are called alley. Okay, there are some specific areas where on dustbins are provided or the bins are provided. It's not specifically dustbin, it is a bin which can be waste management. Okay, so these bins are separate. Okay, used for different types of wastes like plastic waste or wet waste or dry waste or wood waste. Okay, like that. Okay, wooden waste, if there is any wooden waste is there, or if there is any plastic waste is there, then we can use it for different types of wastes. And in this container, okay, in this container there are some in this carrier, there are some different types of compartments are there which can be used for the different types of wastes. Okay, that's why this curbside program is more efficient than that of the drop-off program. In the drop-off program, we use separate bins or the containers for different types of waste, but even though it is not more efficient than that of the curbside because the manual involvement or the local conditions are to be considered in the drop-off point. Whereas in the curbside, there is no such circumstances, so there is no such boundaries or limitations are there for the program. Okay, in a curbside program, source separated recyclables are collected separately regularly from the curbside alley. Okay, this is actually the area or the commercial facility. Curbside programs vary greatly from community to community. Some programs requires residents to separate different materials that are stored in their own containers and collected separately. Other programs use only one container to store the recyclables or two containers, one for paper and another container for the heavy recyclables. Okay, like glass, aluminum, metal wastes, wooden wastes, or heavy recyclable. All these are the very heavy recyclables. Okay, this does means in this container we can use more than two compartments for disposal of different types of wastes, or we can use two containers, one for the heavy metals and another for the light metals like plastic and all. Okay, plastic material, paper, waste papers and all for the recyclable things. Okay, if there is only one compartment is then only the curbside program will not be so successful than that of the drop-off program. Okay, in the curbside program specifically we are using more than two compartments for the different one in specifically for the different wastes to in the at the point of generation itself we are going to separate different types of wastes in the curbside program. Okay, we are going to put different types of waste in the different bins. Okay, which are in place for that such type of specific wastes only. Okay, so that's why this curbside program is highly successful